horrendous act. Future, and then boom, what happened? 9/11. No, I've never been a spiritual man. I mean, I'm an atheist. So here I am,
We are restoring our headquarters now, which is on the National Register of Historic Places. It's a 105-year-old house. So we do a lot of good things up there. So I invite any of you who would like to come up for a visit to come up and see us in Concord. We're in Lincoln, just across the border from Concord.
You put together a nice benefit concert in Boston, too.
Yeah, and you have helped me with, how many have you done now for me? 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
But I never got to thank
of historic Walden Woods. And the job is not finished, so please send in checks if you can, because raising money these days is, as my friend Bette Midler will tell you, raising money for these kinds of things is very difficult, because there are a lot of competing charities that are very worthy, and it's a hard job. But we're not done. There's one more parcel, just one more critical parcel that we need to get. And then our land conservation efforts will be done. But we still have educational programs for students and teachers who come from all over the world. We have a retreat for teachers every year that lasts 2 weeks. Teachers come from everywhere in the United States and spend 2 weeks with us at our headquarters. A lot of them are experiencing burnout because they're underpaid and underappreciated, and they come and stay with us for 2 weeks and get to walk around where Henry Thoreau got to walk around, and it renews their spirit and their passion for teaching again. We have programs for inner city kids who have never been in the woods. So we do a lot of good things up there. So I invite any of you who would like to come up for a visit to come up and see us in Concord. We have now been able to preserve about 87%. That's where that came from. After a while, you throw up your hands. Frank Sinatra tried to organize the music industry back in his day and failed. So, you know, when you're up against the internet service providers and you're up against a behemoth like Google, I'm fond of saying we now live in the United States of Google. And I use them every day, you know. But they're really helping to wreck our industry. But let's see if we can end on a more positive note.
No, well, it's true. I mean, everyone in the music industry that I have ever met or talked to has a horror story. Oh, house control. Oh, boy, let me tell you, they were longer than it took and more than it should have. And I hate the guy. But musicians all have that. Nobody gets away clean.
No. Well, you have to understand that Google owns YouTube, you see, and on YouTube, and get discovered if they do something extraordinary. But by and large, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack, and the haystack keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
All right, we get a chance
move
to
along.
End on a happier note here.
Yeah.
Here's a chance to rectify something. Can you please tell us of a misunderstood Eagles or Don Henley song? This is your chance to rectify. Misunderstood.
Wow.
Hotel California.
What?
Oh, Hotel California.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of that going around. You know.
Well, yeah.
You know what that's about? You know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's misunderstood or just not understood. Well, you know the story about that. Is, you know, there was some radical evangelical group in Oklahoma that were putting out all this stuff about that. You know, we'd all been members of the Church of Satan under Anton LaVey in the Bay Area, and we wrote that song while we were members of the Church of Satan. And, see, that's what happens in Oklahoma. I mean, you have no idea. So yeah, you get them. You get letters. You get those. Do you read that stuff?
Billy Willy Nilly Silly Gilly Dilly
Yeah,
Filly. Yeah.
I read it just for amusement sometime, and also to try to figure out whether I should give it to the security people.
Yeah.
Or not.
I'm always trying to decipher the handwriting. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, there's a certain style that you can recognize immediately. There's a certain scrawl that when I see it now, I recognize immediately.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That I'm dealing with a psychopath.
Yeah.
It's very recognizable.
Received the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police.
I'm an elk, a mason,